Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 5 Steps to Publishing Success webinar. It's really great to be able to share what I'm passionate about, which is independent authorship. And so I want to thank everyone who has come on to the webinar, and I really hope we can answer any questions, but I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I know it's Saturday, and we all have those Saturday chores. But I do want to congratulate you and thank you for taking the time to invest in your vision, investing in your dream. My name is Timothy Bond, and just to give a little bit about myself, my credentials, I call myself an usher to independent authors. I usher authors into literary history. And back in 2004, I had a book full of poetry that I had written throughout my childhood, throughout high school. And I decided that I wanted to take that poetry and I wanted to publish it. That was my big dream. My big dream was to publish a book. 2003, I graduated from college and I got a job at a publishing company. And I decided to take that time, those connections, and publish my book. So I had the connections at that publishing company. I had the professional network. And so I put my book out, and the book was so successful and it was so professionally done that people began to come to me and ask me to publish their books as well. And so I never would have imagined that 20 years ago in February of this year, 20 years later, that small book of poetry would turn out to create a business that has reached authors around the world, that has helped independent authors around the world to publish their books. So that is a little bit about who I am. I've been publishing for 20 years now. We've published authors around the world. I've personally written several books, ghostwritten books for people. So, if you're wondering, does this guy know what he's talking about? Yes, I know what I'm talking about. And the reason I set up this particular webinar is to help people understand what it takes to be successful in the publishing industry. A lot of people think that publishing a book is difficult, or they feel that it is some kind of special, unique. It takes some kind of special, unique quality set of skills to be able to do it, and that's just not the case. Anybody can write a book. In fact, I believe everyone should write a book. Everybody should write a book. I believe that that book may not be a bestseller. That's not the purpose. The reason everybody should write a book is because everybody has a unique experience. Everybody has a unique view on this experience we call life. And so your unique perspective and experience in what we call life can help someone. And by helping one person, I believe we actually can change the world. I believe we can change the world by changing one person's life. And if your book can do that, then you have succeeded as an author. Now, of course, I understand you want to make more money than that, or, you have other visions. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about, what it takes to be successful. So let's jump right into it. We're talking about the 5 steps of publishing success. And let me get my screen pulled up here. I'm going to share my screen. All right. Great. Let's share. All right. So what I want you to take away from this session today is I want you to have a clear understanding of what it really takes to be a best-selling author. I want you to understand the value you offer your customers, and I want you to develop a business mindset. Now, the information that we're going to be talking about in this webinar, some of this comes from my book, 5K the Right Way, Proven Methods to Generate at least 5K from your book. Now, I know some of you may be saying, I want more than 5K, right? I want more than 5K. But the question is, how much are you making on your book right now? Statistically, the average book doesn't sell any more than 250 books in its lifetime. That means people are writing books, millions and millions of people are writing books, and they don't understand how to generate money from those books. And so what I've decided is I'm one that really focuses on baby steps, right? What's the baby steps? Can you make $5,000 in a day? Can you make it in a week, a month, or a year? Once you learn how to generate $5,000 from your book, all you have to do at that point is duplicate and multiply your efforts. And so in this book, I teach you what it takes, the fundamentals of what it takes to generate no less than $5,000 from your book. And once you learn those steps, you can duplicate those steps and generate more money. So you can find that book at 5KtherightWay.com. That's WRITE, not RIGHT. 5KtherightWay.com. And you can also find it on our website, TrueVinePublishing.org. So step one, let's talk about the first step to publishing success. The first step to publishing success is, one, identify your purpose. Now, a lot of people have a lot of different reasons as to why they want to write a book. They have a lot of different reasons, but what I want you to understand is there is no wrong reason. There is no shallow reason, right? You have to identify with authenticity and truth what your real purpose is in writing this book, so that once that's going to give you the direction on how to approach book selling. That's going to give you the direction on how to approach your book campaign, right? So I have here that there are what I found to be 5 main reasons that people write books, right? So the first reason is fame or celebrity. That's okay. It's okay if you say, I want to be famous. So I want to write a book because I want to be famous. That's okay. That's your reason. It's not shallow. That is the reason you want to write a book. So to write that book, knowing that you want to be famous or you want to be a celebrity, that gives you direction on how to approach writing a book. Guess what? You can't write a book just on anything that you want to write a book about. If you want to be famous or you want to be a celebrity, you have to focus on what the people want. So if you want to write a book about apples, but the people want books about oranges, you have to shift. So that's going to give you that direction. If you want to be famous, you want to be a celebrity, or second thing, people write books because they want money. That's fine. We all need money. We all want to have a comfortable life, right? So, if your goal is to write books for money, that's going to give you direction on how to focus your attention, how to focus your efforts, how to focus your energy to make as much money as you possibly can from your book. Some people write books for business purposes. I have a mentor, and this mentor writes books and he gives them out for free. Why? He gives those books out for free because those books generate business and clientele for him. And those clients bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars. Excuse me, let me get a little water here. Those clients bring in hundreds of thousands of dollars for his business. So would you give away a $10 book if it means it's going to bring you, $100,000? Of course you would. It's an investment, but it's worth the investment if your focus, your primary goal is to bring more business. You have some public speakers. They write books because being a public speaker, having a book as a public speaker allows you to command more money. It also gives you more credibility to get more speaking engagements. So I think about, what that purpose for your book is. And then the other two, because I want to go fast through that because I don't want to belabor it, but you have people who write books for passion. right? I have a very good friend. This friend is a New York Times bestseller. He has novelized books for some movies that you've probably watched. Um, Now, even though he's a New York Times bestseller, he's a bestseller of about 3 books. He's written well over 25 books. And this friend, he's willing to work at a coffee shop or, where do as a restaurant, as a waiter. He's willing to work a job that frees him up to write because that's his passion. He'll travel to another state and just stay in that state for inspiration for writing. Whether it's making him money or not, he's writing. He loves to write books because that's his passion. So maybe you're one of those people. Money is not an issue. It's about loving the passion of writing. And then lastly, you have people who write books for a purpose. What is there, like a nonprofit organization, or you have a mission to help children or a mission to help women or men, whatever it is. You have purpose. You don't really focus on the money. You're not really focused on the business of it. You have a purpose for this message and you want to get it out. So step one of being successful as a writer is understanding the purpose for which you are writing books. You have to understand that because that's going to direct you on which path to take as you write your book. Step number 2 is to identify your target reader. So many people say to me, when I ask them, who's your book for? And they say, oh, anybody can read my book. Anybody. This book is for everybody. I got news for you. Your book is not for everybody. Your book should not be for everybody. If your book is for everybody, then your book is for nobody, right? It's just like the notion of trying to please everybody. You cannot please everybody. So I need you to understand, when you start writing your book, or if you start thinking about writing a book, your first thoughts should be, who is this book for? And when you're looking at or thinking about who this book is for, I want you to think about one specific person. One person. I want you to think about, I always tell people, think about it like this. If you were walking down the street and you saw one person and you said, this person needs my book, right? Think about everything you can about that person. Is it a female? Is it a male? How old is that person? What race is that person? What does that person like to do? Create what they call an avatar. Create an avatar. Create a profile of this one person. There are 8 billion people on the earth. I guarantee you, if you can identify one person who needs your book, there are millions upon millions of people just like that one person. It's important that you do this work first. It's important that you identify this person first, because what happens is people put books out and then they try to figure out who's going to buy the book. Then they're sending books out to different people, wasting energy, wasting time, because they didn't put that laser focus on who needs this book and how do I reach them. And we're going to talk about that a little later. So I always tell people there are 3 easy targets when thinking about your target reader. 3 easy targets. The first target is going to be your immediate circle of influence. These are people you know, love, hang out with, commune with, right? These are church members. These are coworkers. These are school friends, college friends, sorority, fraternity, everyone that you come in immediate contact with who will support you. These are your immediate circle of influence. Now, I've had people who say to me, I don't want to go to family. I don't want to go to friends because I want people who don't know me to want my book. This is how I want to explain it. Think about the lion, right? The lion hunting in the safari, right? They're hunting for buffalo. The lion doesn't just run out and chase the first body that it sees. The lion looks for the easy kill. It looks for the lame buffalo. It looks for the young buffalo. It looks for the buffalo that's distracted, because that's an easy kill. They don't have to work hard for that. As an author, you need to be looking for the easy kill. You need to be looking for the immediate successful sale. That is going to be your immediate circle of influence. The second is referred readers. So once you attack your immediate circle of influence, you want to encourage them to refer other readers. And so those referrals, word of mouth is still in top marketing strategy. Word of mouth is still the number one marketing strategy. When people refer you, they have the confidence, right? They have the confidence of the people who referred them, right? This is like with Oprah's book club. You had people in bookstores surrounding lines down the block because they trusted Oprah. And so Oprah was that referral, and they went and bought the book. So when you reach out to your immediate circle of influence, you want them to refer people who will also read the book, right? And then third, this is going to be the toughest of the three, but your target readers. These are people you don't know, but they are people who the book was written for. These are the three targets that you need to focus on when you put your book out there, so that you can make easy sales, quick sales, efficient sales, and not lose a lot of time and energy and money selling books to people who don't need your product. So step 2 of being a successful author is identifying your target reader. Step 3 is planning and preparation. This is the biggest problem I see with authors. And I'm not talking about independent authors. Even authors who are published by traditional publishers don't have a plan for selling their books. I got news for you. It is not the publisher's job to make your book successful. Your book is your vision. Your book is your mission. The publisher produces your mission, but you have to walk out the mission. And so you have to have a plan for that vision, plan for your book. So in planning and preparation, there are 3 things that you need to focus on. 1, you need to prepare your mind. Before you write a book, while you're thinking about writing a book, the mind is the number 1 distinctive barrier that I see for most people. They are consumed with fear. They're consumed with doubt. They're consumed with the inferiority complex. And so you got to take control of your mind and let yourself know that you can succeed at becoming a published author. I'm here to tell you, you can succeed at being a published author if you're willing to put the work in. I told you my story about putting a book out, a book of poetry, right? That book of poetry probably sold about, I don't know, probably $500. That book of poetry probably sold about $500 in books. But that book of poetry started a publishing company that has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars since I put that book out. The book is not your moneymaker. The book is a key to your moneymaker. The book is a key to success, a key that can open up, limitless opportunities. And so you got to prepare your mind to know that when you put this book out, it's going to succeed. And take every step that you can to make it succeed. It's not going to succeed on its own. You got to take the steps to make it succeed. So what I tell people is to decide. Don't hope. Decide that you're going to succeed. A decision and a hope are two different things. Let's say I hope to sell 200 books. If I hope to sell 200 books, I'm going to go out and I'm going to wait for people to come to me. I'm going to go out and I'm going to timidly ask, would you like to buy my book? If I decide I'm going to sell 200 books, I'm going to go out and make that happen because I made a decision. So when you're thinking about your book and your success, I want you to decide what success looks like for you. If you decide I'm going to sell 5,000 books in a year, from that point, you create the plan to sell 5,000 books in a year, and you do not stop until you have achieved that goal. You get the help, whatever you need, but you have to decide. It's not up to the people to support you. They won't have a choice once you decide. They won't have a choice once you decide, right? There's a statement that says, nobody can stop a person with a plan because nobody has a plan to stop them. When you decide for success, you're going to achieve it. And then I want you to commit. You have to commit to it. I'm just going to be transparent right now. I'm going to be transparent with this webinar. I get the bubble guts. I get the butterflies in my stomach. I get scared. I get, and then I decided also I'm going to put it on, I'm going to also put it on Facebook Live, right? So now I have all of this, right? Just going out before the people. I deal with the fear. I deal with the inferiority, the inferiority complex, but commit, you have to commit. That means you jump whether you crash or not. Whether I do well on this or not, I committed to it. I am bringing in attention to the vision, to the mission. And so when you commit and you decide, you're going to get results. I say this all the time. The Bible says, in all labor there is success. In all labor there are results, right? So whatever you do, you're going to get a result from it. Whatever you do, you're going to get results. So prepare your mind, decide, and commit to the vision. Secondly, you got to prepare your budget. I don't know how to say this any better. The Bible says you reap what you sow. If you sow a little, you'll reap a little. If I put one apple seed in the ground, if that apple seed is blessed enough and lucky enough to live and thrive, I will get one apple tree. It makes no sense for me to look for a harvest of apple trees if I was only willing to plant one apple seed. When people get into this arena of publishing and they're saying, I want to figure out the cheapest way to do it, right? How can I do it for free? How can I do it myself? I'm a do-it-yourselfer. That's fine. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, that's fine. But if you're not willing to invest in yourself, invest in your vision, right? When you start to get the success or when you start to see the results of your work, if you didn't want to invest in it then, you're not going to invest the money to make it grow bigger, right? So you have to be willing to budget money, time, and energy to make sure that this book is successful. Now, the average successful self-published book, a person puts in about $12,000 to $15,000 into a successful self-published book. Now, what does that mean? Oh, thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that all of that money came out, up front, right? It means that you have marketing expenses, you have printing expenses, you have travel expenses, but you have to put money into your vision if you want that vision to be successful. If you invest a lot, you're going to get a lot out. If you invest a little, you're going to get little. I don't know. I'll give this, and hopefully I'm not in putting anybody's business in, but the clients who invest the most make the most from their books. The clients who invest the least make the least. It's not about the book. It's not about the quality of the book. It's about the investment and the mindset of investment. Imagine having 1,000 books in your house. You're going to do whatever it takes to sell books. Imagine having no investment, no skin on the table. You got a book on Amazon. You're just going to sit and wait because the mindset is the same. You're still waiting for someone to do it for you. So I'm going to step away from that, but invest in your vision. Put money into your vision. And lastly, you need to prepare your schedule. You need to think about how much time do you have to put into marketing and promoting your book? How much time can you spend traveling to promote your book? How much time can you commit to hosting events or having people come and talk to you about your book? Think about this. Michelle Obama is probably one of the most recognized faces in the world. If she put a book out, I would assume just by putting a book out, she's going to sell millions of copies. Yet Michelle Obama went on a global book signing tour, national book signing tour, right? Because she still has to put the work in. She still has to travel and promote the book. She has to promote the book. Even though she's one of the most recognized faces, just on her name alone, she can get millions of people to buy her book. But she had to go out and put time and energy into promoting her book. One of the problems I find with a lot of independent authors is they are expecting the book to be on Amazon, and then, I don't know, magically, they expect people will know that the book is on Amazon and they will just go to Amazon. Like that's not how it works. You have to promote the book. If Michelle Obama had to go across the country to promote her book, you definitely have to go across the country to promote your book. You definitely have to get on social media and post and talk about your book as much as possible. You definitely have to go out, shake hands, kiss babies, do whatever it takes to get the word out about your book. So step 3, plan and prepare for success. Plan and prepare for success. Step 4 is marketing. And everyone on the live, Facebook Live, if you have questions, then post your questions on the Facebook Live, and I'll be happy to answer those questions as well. Step 4 is marketing. What is marketing? I believe a lot of people have a misconstrued idea about marketing. A lot of people believe like marketing is more sophisticated than it is. I always make this analogy. Marketing is just about getting people's attention in any and every way possible. Marketing is yelling at the top of your lungs in any way possible. Look at me. Look at my product, right? Look at what I have to offer. It's not about saying guaranteeing. It's not about guaranteeing sales. It's about getting exposure. If your house is on fire, okay, are you going to stop and think, okay, what's the best way for me to to tell people my house is on fire? Should I do a social media campaign? Should I hire a publicist? No, you're gonna run out of the house screaming, "Help! Help! My house is on fire!" Right? And that's gonna get attention. And so when it comes to marketing your book, it's not difficult. Do everything you possibly can to get attention on that book. I'll talk to you about my publishing company, right? So as a publisher, I have to do everything I can to get exposure to my publishing company. So I use TikTok. I do the funny videos, right? I do webinars like this. I do things to draw attention to the brand. Now, I may not get business immediately from drawing that attention, but what I have done, and I've seen this happen time and time again, I have planted the name True-Vine Publishing in somebody's mind. I was once on a cruise and I was talking to someone on the cruise about True-Vine Publishing Company. Probably 6 months to 7 months later, I get a call from this person who says, my boss wants to write a book, and I remembered your name from the cruise. I don't remember that person. I don't remember that person's name, but they remembered True-Vine Publishing because I planted the seed of True-Vine Publishing. When you're thinking about marketing your book, it's a numbers game. How many people can I expose to the title of my book? How many people can I expose to the cover, the image, the brand? Because you may not reach all of them, but you may reach one of them. And you don't know what that one person can do for you. So when I look at authors and I look at their social media pages and I see, more pictures of vacations, I see more pictures of food, I see more pictures of clothes and selfies, I see no pictures of your book, I feel that's a missed opportunity. That is a missed opportunity. Thank you, Daniel. That's a missed opportunity to expose your brand to somebody who could change your life, right? Somebody who could change your life. So marketing is about getting attention. So how do you market? Like I said, any and every way. I'm gonna give you some ideas, okay? Podcasting is a great way to market. And podcasting is so simple. It's so simple. Just get on Zoom. Record your Zoom call with somebody and then post it on a free, there's an app called Podcaster. All right, I'm giving away nuggets today. There's an app called Podcaster. It puts your podcast on Spotify. When you record on Zoom, Zoom records the video and it also records your audio. It's as simple as a few taps of a button. You can have a national podcast that will bring exposure to your brand, exposure to your book or your business or your platform. So podcasting. Let's talk about doing book signings, right? Passing out business cards, going to book conferences, going to book fairs. I went to a book fair with a client and we walked around for 30 minutes. All right. We walked around for 30 minutes and we talked to people about the book and sold books, and he made nearly $250 in 30 minutes selling books at that fair. Now, guess what? If he'd have been a vendor, the price for being a vendor at this book fair for the whole weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, was $500. He made $250 in 30 minutes. What would he have made if he'd have been a vendor for the whole weekend, right? So any and every way that you can go out and tell people about your book and expose people to the book and ask people to buy the book, the better. Another thing to consider when marketing is you have to be aggressive. You cannot be passive. You cannot ask someone, will you buy my book? And they say, yeah, I'll think about it or I'll get it, right? If they tell you, yes, I'm going to get it, follow up. You have to follow up. A lot of people will commit, but they won't execute because there's so many other things on their mind. It may not be that they're lying. It may be they just forgot. Okay? So you got to follow up. If you get a partial commitment, unless they tell you no, follow up until they tell you no. Okay? You have to be aggressive. I had my books in a bookstore once. We were standing at the door of the bookstore. I asked the lady if she was going to buy my book. She said, oh, yeah, is it in the bookstore? Now, she's talking to me. I could have given her a book right there. She says, is it in the bookstore? I said, yes. She says, I'm gonna get it. And walks away. Walks away. Okay? And this was somebody I went to church with. This is somebody I knew, right? So how much more are people who you talk to, who you don't know, who have no commitment to you, have no loyalty to you? How much more do you have to put in to get them to actually commit? So be aggressive. Don't stop until you get that no. And then you need to do showcases. Have events where people can come to you. Offer value. Offer value to your potential buyer, because people don't care about supporting you. People don't care about your book. They don't care about your story. They don't care about what you think is good. The only thing buyers care about is what's in it for me. That's it. Buyers want to know, if I put money into your pockets, what am I going to get out of it? What's in it for me? So you need to provide the value, right? Provide the value for the buyer so that they want to give you their money. They don't want to just support you for the heck of it. Give them something. Give them samples. Like, people are so afraid to share information about their book or give out samples of the book, or even give the book titles. That always confuses me. I don't want to tell you my book title. You might steal it. Nobody's stealing a book. Nobody's going to steal an idea that they have to sit down and write for hours. Nobody's doing that. But give out samples to give value to people so that they want to buy your book. And you want to set up strategic partnerships, right? Like, if I was able to get Keith Lee, let's say Keith Lee. Keith Lee is a social media icon at this point. 15 million people follow him and hang on his every word. If I was able to get a strategic partnership with Keith Lee, where he, as an influencer, tells people, go read this guy's book, it was great, that would be a life changer. You only have so much reach, so you have to connect with other people who can extend that reach, which is another reason podcasts are great. I can use my podcast to connect with other people and reach their audiences as well, right? So podcasts, I think everybody, if I can say anything, everybody who's serious about being a successful author needs to have a website or a landing page and a podcast. All right, so that's step number 4. You have to market your book. You have to get people's attention by any and every possible way, and you need to be aggressive about it, okay? And then the last one is step 5, which is mastering sales. For some reason, authors don't believe that they are salespeople. But I have news for you. You cannot be a bestseller without the sales. Your book could be the best, but without sales, it will never be a bestseller. So you have to master selling. And this is something nobody can do for you. Yeah, I mean, you can have people do it for you, but nobody's going to have the passion, the insight, and the motivation to push your book like you do, and definitely not for free. See, this is another issue where I talk about the investing in yourself. You have independent authors who want other people to sell the book for them, but they don't want to invest money into that. Nobody's working for free. So if you do decide you are just absolutely averse to selling, to telling people, asking people to buy your book, then you're going to have to pay somebody to do it. But on the whole, you are the best salesperson for your book, and you need to master selling, right? So there are 3 components of book selling that I want to tell you about, and one, prospecting. I worked for a college, and my job was to prospect for new business. My job was to call people unsolicited, call people all day, asking them if they wanted to go to college. That was my job. On a daily basis, I made at least 150 to 200 calls, some days even 300 calls per day. No exaggerations. Asking people if they wanted to go to college. Of those 150 to 300 calls, if I was able to get 2 conversations, that was a good day. If I was able to get 2 or 3 conversations out of those calls where someone legitimately had a conversation with me about going to college, that was a good day. That's the nature of sales. The nature of sales is it's a numbers game. It's about getting as many people, talking to as many people as possible, so that you can at least get 1% of those people to take you serious and talk to you, and then get a smaller percentage of those people to actually take action and buy your product. It's not an easy game. If you want to be successful, you have to take it serious. Sales is work, and you have to take it serious, but it's worth it, because for every no you get, that one yes is worth all the time and energy. That one yes is worth all the no's. So as a prospecting, that means cold calling. Yes, as an author, it's okay for you to cold call people. It's okay for you to get a list of people who fit your target market and to call them and say, hey, do you have this problem, and this problem? Well, I've written a book that can help you, resolve these issues. Would you be interested in getting that book? That's cold calling. That is business. That's sales 101. It's a numbers game. Direct messaging is another great way. Social media has made it so that we are all connected. We're connected to millions of people that we otherwise would never know, would never meet. And we can go into their direct messaging, create a template. Now, you have to be careful with this because you do have the spamming triggers. So you have to be careful that you're not spamming people, but reaching out with authentic, communication and letting them know that you have a book that can solve X and Y problem, and just asking them if they would be interested. Now, the fact is, you're not going to get a sale from every interaction. So that shouldn't be your goal. Your goal shouldn't be the first person I talk to, I want to sell. Your goal should only be creating the introduction of your brand and your product. That should be your primary goal. Hey, this is who I am. This is what I offer. And I'd love to, if you're interested, I'd love to provide this product for you, right? The more you do it, the law of averages says you're going to get some business, okay? So direct messaging. And then I also say knocking on doors. I don't know, for my, I'm a 70s. I was born in the 70s. So I don't know if they have door-to-door, vacuum salesmen, right? But in my day, people would come to your house, knock on your door, and ask you if you want to buy a vacuum cleaner. And they want to do a presentation. As an author, you too are a door-to-door salesman. You need to get out and knock on doors. When I put out my first book, I was frustrated on the fact that I wasn't getting any sales. And so it hit me that I've not told anyone in my community, in my neighborhood of hundreds of houses, that I wrote a book. So I went out and I started knocking on doors and introducing myself to my neighbors and letting my neighbors know that I wrote a book and I just wanted to know if you'd be interested in buying it. And one of my neighbors got upset. And she said, I can't believe you didn't come earlier. Why didn't you tell us long before now? She wanted to support. She was happy to support, but I never had taken the time to introduce myself. So you got to get out there, shake hands, kiss babies, make cold calls, direct messages, do whatever it takes to get the numbers, to get exposure to as many people so that you can make a sale. The second thing about sales is that you have to have something to say. You got to have a pitch. Having something to say is just as important as having someone to say it to. One of the biggest problems I see is when when you ask somebody about their book, they go on a 30-minute rant about their book. They're talking about characters in the book. They don't have a elevator pitch for their book. So you need to create a pitch for your book. You need to create a 30-second effective, impactful statement about what your book is about and how it helps the reader. Because remember, what's in it for me? People don't want to buy your book just because you wrote a good book. They want to buy your book because it's going to give them something to help their lives. So create your pitch. And after you create that pitch, if you get contact information is the gold. Contact data is the new gold. Okay? Data. You want telephone numbers, email addresses, names. You want data. You want a database full of names of people so that you can connect with them and continue communication with them so that if they don't like the product you have right now, down the road, you'll have a product that they do like. So listen, I really am going to shut this down now. Those are the 5 steps. And let's recap. Step 1, identify your purpose for why you're writing your book. When you understand why you're writing the book, it's going to direct you on how to write the book. Okay? Step 2, identify your target reader. Your book is not for everyone. If your book is for everyone, your book is for no one. So identify that one person who needs your book. I guarantee you'll find millions of people just like them. Number 3, plan and prepare for success. Decide what success looks like for you. And then pursue that decision. Commit to that decision. And invest. Number 4, market. Yell as loud as you can in as many ways as you possibly can. Look at me. This is my product, and this is how it can help you. And lastly, master sales. Now, look, you got to go deeper. We could go have 1-hour sessions, but that's not going to be enough for you to really master this information and be successful as an author. So I do want to invite you to join me and go deeper. I have some training programs. Again, I have the book 5K the Right Way. You can find it at my website, truevinepublishing.org, in the bookstore. But I also want you to go to www.legacy-steps.com, where I have some training programs that I believe can help you go to the next level, no matter where you are in the process. If you're a brand new writer, you haven't written one word, I can help you in that process to become a successful author. If you already put a book out and you need help understanding what do I do now, this is where you can go to sign up for my coaching programs. I have the 5K The Right Way book club, where we go over each chapter and we discuss the strategies that can help you make no less than $5,000 a month, a week, or a year, whatever your ambition is. We have the Author Incubator, 6 weeks of customized coaching and strategy sessions. All right. So this is for you specifically. It's not a cookie cutter process, but we're going to go 6 weeks into your specific project and how we can help you develop a strategy to sell more books. And then we have the Innovators Discount, where if you sign up within the next 24 hours, you're going to get both the 5K book club and the Author Incubator. If you're interested in writing a book and publishing a book with True-Vine Publishing Company, give me a call at 615-44-BOOKS or go to truevinepublishing.org. If there are any questions, I'll give a few seconds right now. But if not, I appreciate your time and I appreciate your commitment to learning more about this process. You all have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend.